We often strive to understand ourselves and others, but it seems that the mystery of human nature is elusive. Before us, every day is a huge variety of individuals, each with their own beautiful qualities and flaws, their own light and dark sides. In this video, we will take a journey through the depths of human nature and talk about 10 important truths to embrace. Together, we will realize that each person carries the baggage of unique experiences that make us who we are. Together, let's unravel the mysteries of our psychology and learn how our beliefs and experiences shape our attitudes and actions. From beautiful qualities to flaws, from wisdom to weaknesses, let's explore the multifaceted world of people and uncover the surprising aspects of who we are. Prepare for discoveries that may not only change your understanding of others, but also expand your own self. Number 1. All people have different values, beliefs, and priorities. In a world of billions of people, each individual has a unique set of values, beliefs, and priorities. This is obvious, but we often forget this when we interact with other people. We assume that others share our beliefs, or at least should. However, each person has their own path they have traveled, their own experiences and lessons they have learned. Everyone has their own goals, their own fears, and their own hopes. It is this diversity that makes our world so rich and interesting. Some people value freedom and independence, others value security and stability. Some are willing to take risks and experiment, while others prefer to plan and anticipate. Some people believe that family is the most important thing, while others believe that career and success are the most important. This diversity of values and beliefs can lead to conflict and misunderstanding. We may think that our point of view is the only correct one and that others must agree with us, but they don't. Stoics teach us to accept things we cannot change. It is this acceptance that can help us cope with the diversity of human values and beliefs. We must be able to distinguish what depends on us from what does not. We cannot change other people's beliefs and values, but we can change our attitudes toward them. When we encounter someone who has different values and beliefs, we can choose to either argue and try to change their opinion or accept their point of view and respect it. We should become tolerant and understanding. We should not try to change others. We should change ourselves. We should learn to listen and understand rather than argue and persuade. In addition, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control rather than what we cannot change. We cannot change other people's beliefs, but we can change our attitudes toward them. Accepting the diversity of human values and beliefs doesn't mean we have to agree with them. It means that we must respect the right of others to their beliefs and values. It is this respect that can help us live in a world where everyone has their own way and their own goals. Number 2. All people are imperfect and make mistakes. In our vast, unfathomable world, there is hardly one perfect person in every aspect. Each of us has our flaws, our weaknesses, and our mistakes. This is an undeniable fact, but we often forget this when we look at other people or ourselves. We often expect perfect behavior, perfect decisions, and perfect results from ourselves and others. But it's not possible. We are human, and we make mistakes. We are imperfect, and that's okay. Mistakes are part of our lives. We learn from them, we grow because of them, and we become better because of them. But why do we so often forget this and expect ourselves and others to be perfect? We judge ourselves and others for mistakes. We berate ourselves and others for imperfections. But that doesn't help. It only leads to suffering, to guilt, and to insecurity. Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches us to accept the things we cannot change. It is this acceptance that can help us deal with human imperfection and the mistakes we make. We cannot change our past. We cannot change our mistakes, but we can change our attitude towards them. When we make a mistake, we can choose to either berate ourselves and feel guilty, or accept our mistake and learn from it. Try to be merciful to ourselves and to others when we make mistakes. Accepting human imperfection is not saying that we should be satisfied with our mistakes. It means that we should be willing to learn from them and grow because of them. It is this acceptance that can help us live in a world where mistakes are part of our lives. Number 3. Everyone has different motivations and life circumstances that shape their behavior. We are all unique and unrepeatable. Each of us has had our own life journey that has shaped our personality, value system, and behavior pattern. Our actions are a reflection of our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, which in turn are the result of a complex interweaving of various factors: upbringing, cultural environment, social environment, personal experience, psychological characteristics, and many others. For example, a person who grew up in a poor family may have different motivations and aspirations than someone who has been accustomed to wealth and luxury since childhood. Someone may be more open and sociable due to temperament, while another may prefer seclusion due to sensitivity and vulnerability. Life circumstances also play an important role. The loss of a loved one, a serious illness, or a financial crisis can radically change behavior and outlook. Thus, to understand and accept another person's behavior, we need to look at the situation from their perspective, realizing that behind every action is a unique personal story. The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us to accept people and situations as they are, without judgment or excessive emotion. A Stoic realizes that each person acts according to their internal attitudes and external circumstances that are beyond their control. Instead of expending energy on criticism or worry, the Stoic focuses on what he or she can change, his or her own attitude and behavior. By adopting this view, we learn to be more tolerant, empathetic, and forgiving of those around us. We realize that behind every action is a unique story that we are unable to fully understand. Instead of judging, we can show understanding and compassion. This approach not only makes us more harmonious individuals, but also helps us build more constructive relationships with those around us. Number 4. People grow as individuals and change over time. Life is a continuous process of becoming and transformation. Each of us, like sprouts sprouting from a seed, gradually develops and unfolds, changing from day to day. This is a natural course of things. We learn, gain experience, rethink our views, discover new facets in ourselves. Sometimes these changes occur smoothly and imperceptibly, like the ebb and flow of the tides. We seem to grow out of our old skin, gaining a new outlook, new beliefs and priorities. At other times, change happens more abruptly, like a sudden storm, when we face challenges, crises, or major life events that force us to reinvent ourselves. However, one thing remains constant: we never stand still. Our personality, like a turbulent stream, is constantly moving forward, adapting to new circumstances and experiences. And that's great, because that's what makes us alive, dynamic, discovering our potential. The realization that people are inevitably changing can cause many to feel anxious and somewhat insecure. How do we embrace this continuous transformation without losing our own identity? We simply need to accept what is happening to us and the world around us with wisdom and serenity. The Stoics taught that the only things we can control are our own judgments, emotions, and actions. Everything else is out of our control and undergoing constant change. Once we accept this truth, we can stop clinging to the past and trying to stop the passage of time. Instead, we learn to go with the flow, opening ourselves to the new possibilities that change brings. We become more flexible, less susceptible to stress and frustration, because we realize that nothing lasts forever, not even our own beliefs. Stoicism helps us find inner support in the stormy sea of life. It allows us to face change with joy, revealing new facets of our personality. Number 5. Everyone has freedom of choice. In life, each of us has a priceless gift, freedom of choice. This ability to make decisions and choices is a fundamental human right, the basis of our individuality and responsibility for our own lives. Every moment we are faced with many forks in the road that require from us inner tension and concentration. Choosing a profession, a life partner, a way of life, all these are a reflection of our free will. Even in the most mundane situations, we are constantly deciding whether to stay home or go for a walk, whether to eat healthy or indulge in sweets. This freedom of choice gives us a sense of our own uniqueness, the opportunity to create our own destiny. But at the same time, it also imposes a great responsibility on us, because every decision we make has consequences, both desirable and undesirable. That is why it is so important to learn to weigh the pros and cons, to listen to the voice of your conscience, to believe in yourself. Freedom of choice is a privilege that should be valued and managed. After all, it allows us to become creators of our own lives, to realize our potential and leave our unique mark in this world. The realization that we have freedom of choice can be both liberating and frightening. After all, with this freedom comes responsibility for the consequences of our decisions. How can we accept this truth and learn to live in harmony with it? The philosophy of Stoicism offers us a valuable answer. Let us learn not to waste energy worrying about the future or feeling guilty about the past. Instead, we focus on the present moment and use our freedom of choice to make conscious, deliberate choices. We become more calm, collected and confident because we know we have the power to influence the course of events. This does not mean that we will be immune to mistakes or failures, but Stoicism teaches us to accept them with dignity, learning lessons and moving forward. After all, it is this process of trial and error, of ups and downs, that shapes our unique personality. In this way, Stoicism helps us find our inner footing by taking responsibility for our lives and using the gift of freedom of choice as a tool for self-actualization and personal growth. It makes us stronger, more purposeful, and ready to face any challenge. Number 6. Everyone is valuable and unique. In the vast sea of humanity, each individual is like a precious gem, reflecting the light of the world from their own unique angle. No two people are alike. Each of us has our own traits, talents, life experiences, dreams, and aspirations. And that is what makes us valuable and irreplaceable. When we look around us, we see incredible diversity, different cultures, traditions, beliefs, ways of self-expression. And behind each of these manifestations is a unique human essence, endowed with its own inner universe. Some are gifted with musical talent, some are drawn to the exact sciences, some have the gift of empathy and the ability to find a common language with people. Each of us makes a unique contribution to the fabric of the universe. Realizing this truth allows us to look at others with greater reverence. After all, behind external differences lies what makes us equal: our humanity, our ability to love, to be compassionate, to dream. Every person, regardless of their position, accomplishments or characteristics, is a unique individual who deserves attention, respect, and care. By accepting this truth, we enrich not only ourselves but also the world around us, becoming more open, tolerant, and empathetic. For when we see the value in each person, we learn to appreciate our own uniqueness as well, drawing in it a source of inspiration, strength, and meaning. Realizing that each person is valuable and unique may seem like a simple and obvious truth at first glance, but actually accepting it truly and living according to it is a much more difficult task. The Stoics taught us that our attitudes toward the world and people, it is our judgments, evaluations and reactions that determine how we perceive the reality around us. When we apply the principles of Stoicism, we learn to see the value in every person, no matter how much their personality or behavior conforms to our expectations. Instead of judging or criticizing, we try to understand, accept, and even admire everyone's uniqueness. Of course, we don't have to blindly approve of everything those around us do, but we can remain calm, objective, and benevolent even when we encounter things we are not comfortable with. After all, each of us is a complex, evolving individual, influenced by many factors. Stoicism helps us find inner harmony by accepting each person as they are. This not only enriches our inner world, but also makes us more valuable members of society, able to make a positive contribution to the lives of those around us. Number 7. People search for meaning and purpose in life. Deep inside each of us lives a relentless search, a search for true purpose, for the meaning of our existence. It is an integral part of human nature, a driving force that makes us think about the purpose of our lives. We don't just live our days mechanically, doing routine activities. No, deep down we yearn to find something that will give our lives authenticity and significance. We ask ourselves, why am I here? What is my role in this world? What can I leave behind? This spiritual search takes many forms, from religious pursuits to scientific discovery, from creative endeavors to volunteer work. For some of us, the meaning lies in serving our neighbors, for others in realizing our talents and potential. But all of us are united by a thirst to find something that will fill our lives with deep, meaningful content. At times, this inner need for goal setting can be excruciating and cause a sense of dissatisfaction. But at the same time, it is the driving force that motivates us to grow, develop, and constantly move forward. After all, it is the pursuit of meaningfulness that gives our lives real value. So while the answer to the question, what is the meaning of life, is still a mystery, the very process of searching for it makes us more alive, motivated, and deeply satisfied. The desire to find true purpose and purpose is one of the most fundamental manifestations of human nature. But how do you embrace this truth and harmonize it into your life? We need to realize that true meaning is born from within, from our own understanding of who we are and what we came into this world to do. Of course, we must not ignore voices from outside. On the contrary, Stoicism calls us to scrutinize our surroundings, to draw inspiration from other people and events. But in doing so, we learn to maintain inner independence, not allowing external factors to determine our life purpose. Gradually, by accepting this truth, we gain greater harmony, peace of mind, and self-confidence. The philosophy of Stoicism helps us to accept the incessant search for meaning in life as a natural human condition. Instead of fighting it, we learn to guide this search wisely, drawing strength from our own inner freedom and responsibility for our lives. Number 8. Everyone needs understanding and empathy. In this multifaceted and diverse world, where each of us is unique and unrepeatable, there is one universal need that unites everyone, the need for understanding and empathy. It is the innate desire to be heard, accepted, and truly seen by others. We want to be understood, accepted, and appreciated for who we are, without trying to change or judge. For only then can we truly open up, trust, and feel our true worth. However, in our fast-paced and often alienating world, this is not always easy. We are surrounded by people who are too immersed in their own problems to really dig into someone else's life. Or we face indifference, misunderstanding, and judgment, situations that hurt our souls. And yet, despite these trials, we continue to expect empathy. After all, it is an essential part of our humanity, the need to connect with others, to share our feelings, and to find a response. It is the only way we can escape loneliness, feel connected to the world around us, and reach our true potential. Realizing this universal truth, that each of us needs understanding and acceptance, should encourage us to be more compassionate, patient, and attentive. This is the key to creating a more harmonious, cohesive society in which everyone feels heard and valued. Realizing that everyone needs empathy and acceptance may seem simple and obvious at first glance. However, putting it into practice, especially in our fast-paced and alienating times, is not always easy. By applying the principles of Stoicism, we learn to accept people for who they are without trying to change them. Instead of judging or condemning, we try to show more patience, empathy, and willingness to understand. After all, we know that each person is going through their own internal battles that we are not always aware of. This shift in attitude allows us to make deeper and more genuine connections with those around us. We begin to listen more closely to their stories, noticing the nuances of their moods and behaviors. And in this process, not only do we gain the opportunity to be heard, but we also give others the opportunity to feel understood and accepted. Of course, we do not need to approve of everything that people around us do. We must remain objective, but we must also act with kindness and compassion. Number 9. People need social connections. Our need to build relationships and form bonds with others is deeply rooted in our very being. Without it, we cannot reach our full potential and find a true sense of well-being and belonging. Throughout history, people have organized themselves into tribes, communities, and societies, drawing strength and support from each other. These social bonds not only provided a quality of life, but also a sense of shared meaning and purpose. They helped us develop empathy, compassion, and a sense of responsibility for the well-being of others. Today, we are still in dire need of close, meaningful relationships. Our mental and physical health is directly related to the quality and depth of our social connections. Without these sources of support, understanding, and interaction, we risk falling into loneliness, depression, and alienation. Recognizing this profound truth, that humans are inextricably linked and need social contact, should encourage us to develop healthier, more harmonious relationships. Only in this way can we reach our full human potential. Realizing that people have a deep need for social connection may seem obvious and simple, but translating this truth into reality, especially in today's society where loneliness and alienation are becoming more prevalent, is no easy task. We should not complain about loneliness or blame others for our lack of attention. The Stoics urge us to focus on what we can do. This means taking initiative, expanding our social circle, and being willing to listen to and accept others. Sometimes we may face rejection, misunderstanding, or indifference, but Stoicism teaches us to remain calm and objective, not allowing these setbacks to destroy our faith in the value of social contacts. Remember, our well-being depends not only on external circumstances, but also on our own moral principles and beliefs. Even if we cannot change the attitudes of those around us, we can control how we respond. By applying these principles, we learn to take responsibility for developing our social connections. We become more active, courageous, and open in building relationships, knowing that this not only enriches our lives, but also makes us more valuable members of society. Number 10. People can be vulnerable. Behind the facade of our strength, confidence, and independence, every human being harbors an inner vulnerability. It is an inherent part of our human nature that we are not always willing to admit or demonstrate. Our vulnerability can manifest itself in many different ways, from sensitivity to criticism, to fear of failure, from heartache over loss to anxiety over the unknown. These are the moments when we feel fragile, insecure, and in need of protection and support. Recognizing this truth may seem painful. After all, most people are taught from childhood to be strong and unshakable. But the truth is that our vulnerability is what makes us truly human. It's what binds us to each other, allows us to empathize and care. When we open up to our vulnerability, we become more authentic, deeper, and ready for close relationships. We learn to trust, ask for help, and find comfort in connecting with others. This enriches our emotional experience and gives us a sense of authentic connection. Of course, being vulnerable is always risky. We may experience pain, disappointment, or rejection, but that's what makes this experience so valuable. Vulnerability requires us to be courageous, authentic, and willing to face the unknown. Recognizing that people can be fragile and vulnerable should encourage us to treat each other with greater compassion, understanding, and willingness to reach out. Only in this way can we create a more cohesive, compassionate society in which everyone feels accepted and valued. Recognizing that people can be vulnerable requires not only compassion, but also inner strength. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism comes to our aid, with its emphasis on personal responsibility and self-control. Through this, we learn to look at vulnerability not as a weakness, but as a source of strength and growth. For it is by facing our own fragility that we develop compassion, wisdom, and inner resilience. Our true well-being does not depend on external circumstances, but on our ability to manage our inner reactions. This means that even when we encounter painful moments of vulnerability, we can choose to respond to them with understanding, courage, and inner harmony. Of course, we should not completely shut ourselves off from our feelings. On the contrary, the Stoics urge us to recognize and accept them, but at the same time, not to let them completely take us over. It is the art of balance to be open, yet maintain dignity and inner freedom. Through Stoic principles, we become more tolerant, compassionate, and willing to reach out to others, knowing that each of us carries fragility and vulnerability within us. Ultimately, accepting truths about people is not about accepting injustice or tolerating bad attitudes. It's more about realizing that people make mistakes, have their flaws, and won't always meet our expectations. This frees us from frustration, resentment, and anger, allowing us to build healthier and more harmonious relationships. Accepting truths about people and applying Stoic principles will not make us insensitive or indifferent. On the contrary, it will allow us to be more compassionate and understanding, for we will see people not only for their faults, but also for their human nature. Acceptance is not just a philosophical concept, but a way of life. It is a path to inner freedom, peace, and wisdom that will help us live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below this video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos on Stoic wisdom. Stay wise and strong on your journey through life.